The sun was setting low over Duplin County, casting long shadows through the tall pines that bordered the cotton fields. The air was thick with humidity, and the sounds of cicadas filled the twilight, but the buzz of summer night was interrupted by a heavy silence that hung over the land. The year was 1865, a time when the echoes of the Civil War were still reverberating in the hearts and homes of the people. Many were eager to embrace new beginnings, but old wounds festered beneath the surface, especially in a place like Duplin County, where the legacies of slavery loomed large. On this night, 6 black men stood resolute beneath the towering oak trees. They had gathered after a hard day's work, seeking to voice their grievances. These men were skilled laborers, freedmen who had built their lives from the ground up, yet they had found themselves in a grim cycle of exploitation. They toiled under a white landowner, Nathaniel Gregson, a man who had once commanded their lives with the crack of a whip and still saw them as less than human. With the war drawing to an end, they had mustered the courage to demand the wages they were owed, money they had earned with their sweat, blood, and labor. As they stood beneath the rustling leaves, their faces were lit by the fading sun, resolute yet weary, kindled by a hope that felt increasingly tenuous. "Gentlemen, our work deserves recognition. We've given Gregson our strength, our time, and our skills," said Samuel, the de facto leader of the group. His voice was steady, but there was an underlying tremor that betrayed his anxiety. "We deserve to be paid what we are owed." His comrades nodded in agreement. Thomas, who toiled long hours in the fields, Caleb and Micah, who labored skillfully at carpentry, and the brothers Jamal and Elijah, who brought the richness of their knowledge to the tasks softening the toughest of tasks. They had come together in solidarity, buoyed by the spirit of emancipation, but there loomed a threat more tangible than their dreams. As the sun dipped lower, darkness draped itself over Duplin County. In the distance, they heard the rumble of horse hooves and the clatter of iron wheels. Nathaniel Gregson's men were approaching. They had heard of the men's boldness and did not take kindly to their demands. "Leave this place," one of Gregson's men barked, a hulking figure draped in the remnants of Confederate blue. "You think you can demand payment from a white man? You think this land is yours now?" The words hung in the air like a curse. The 6 men looked at one another, some reaching instinctively for the tools they had carried from the fields, now their makeshift weapons, though they knew the futility against the mob. Samuel stepped forward, his heart thundering in his chest. "We've earned our due," he declared, facing the men with unwavering pride. "We will not be silenced or cowered any longer. We demand what we are owed." But the men responded with sneers. They were buoyed by the backing of their communal power, a system built on oppression. In an instant, the situation escalated. What had begun as a fierce but simple demand for payment erupted into chaos. The 6 men found themselves surrounded, outnumbered, and outmatched. With feral determination, they fought back, but it was no use. The ravenous anger of the white men surged like a tidal wave, drowning out every plea for justice. Samuel felt the grip of a strong hand seize him, and the world around him spun into a haze of violence and hatred. One by one, the men fell, no longer the proud workers of Duplin County, but mere shadows, discarded like the fields of cotton that had once thrived under their care. The land that had promised them hope now became a stage for cruelty. Their cries echoed against the night, swallowed by the darkness that hung over the county like a shroud. By dawn, the sun would rise to a sky painted with a soft glow of orange and pink, illuminating the aftermath of violence, a grotesque testament to the fragility of freedom. The 6 brave souls, once united in their plea for justice, would be remembered only as whispers in the wind. Though their lives were snuffed out by the brutal hand of hatred, their spirits remained. The stories of Samuel, Thomas, Caleb, Micah, Jamal, and Elijah would be woven into the fabric of local lore, rising through the generations like grains of sand scattered in a harsh desert, always longing for the promise of a new dawn. In time and with resilience, their sacrifices would become part of a deeper fight, an indomitable force rising against the tide of history, a call for freedom echoing across the decades until even the darkest corners of Duplin County were lit with the light of justice and hope.